Well, hello again, folks. I didn't know if I'd get another video out before Christmas, but I was able to get over there and work a little bit. So I probably will, between Christmas and New Year's, I'm working on putting together like a recap of what I've done to this point, like a time lapse of the front yard and then the back. Just to kind of fill in until I can get back, with the holidays and visits and stuff like that. It'd be difficult to go over there, and I know a lot of people are off work and so on. So I'll probably just take a few days away from there. At any rate, as usual, I'm just starting out in this area in the back. I've got that deck cleared off, and now I'm starting to get this area here cleared off, and we'll see what we can find under there. As I said at the beginning, it's early, so I haven't cranked up any power tools yet, and I just like I say, I go slow and methodical. I'll take my time and try to get a little bit here, a little bit there. No rush. I've had quite a few comments about my voice, which I'm kind of surprised at. One comment in particular, and I forget the name, forgive me, but someone said, "Who's narrating that? Is that your son?" The voice doesn't go with that, with the older gentleman in the videos, but rest assured, this is me. I'm the old man doing the work, and I'm the one talking too. So I thought that was kind of funny. I took that as a compliment. Thank you. At least I can sound young. I don't have to look it, I guess. But thanks so much. So again, here we go with the Briars and the Bramble. I think, as one of my Aussie friends said on his channel, this should be the last big patch of Briars in the backyard. There's some next to the metal shed to the left of us here, but I'll get to those probably in a little while. Not today, but maybe next week. And then I'll start working. Once I get this thing uncovered and these Briars out of here and cleaned up around the two buildings, the rest of it is going to be pretty much picking up limbs that are laying in the ivy, the ground ivy, and then limbing up a lot of the trees back there. There's an awful lot of dead stuff and overgrown stuff. It needs to be limbed up, so I'll be doing a lot of tree work, so to speak, working my way around the rest of the backyard, which should be fun. I look forward to that. That's good work. I enjoy that. So anyway, it's early. Once again, I've said this a couple times already. It's early, so I try not to get the power tools cranked up right away. Just out of respect. Give the folks a chance to sleep in a little bit, if you will. So let's just pick away at this, and I'll be back. As I slowly go around here, I received one comment I believe it was from someone from Russia, because I had to translate it. And as I watch myself slowly and methodically work along, I'm reminded of that comment. The individual said it's sad and pitiful to watch a fat old man slowly and ineptly work around this garden. Yard, he said, I guess, a garden, whatever. And I don't know, maybe 20 years ago that would have angered me, but I had to chuckle. For somebody that maybe just tuned in and hadn't listened to me or know what I'm doing, that's probably exactly how it looks, and that's okay. I'm sure it was meant to be somewhat derogatory, but I don't care. I thanked him for his comment and moved on. I hope I don't portray a pitiful old man. Old man, okay, but I'm anything but pitiful. I think I certainly feel great, and I feel blessed to be able to do this, and happy that I can get out there and move around and do this stuff. So anyway, but with that one comment comes hundreds of very kind words. I'm really blown away by the number of comments that are positive, upbeat, thanking me and all that. I don't consider myself any different than anyone. I just happen to be in a position to do this, and I like to do it. So it's just that simple. And if it helps someone, that's great. That's the benefit in all this. Someone else is getting help, and I like that. But I do thank you for all your great comments. It means an awful lot to me. I truly am blessed to be able to do this. One of the things too is I just watched myself with the hedge trimmers there. Sometimes it may look like things are heavy for me, the way I lift my arms and all that. I'm sure I've told everyone that I've had arthroscopic surgery to have my rotator cuffs repaired on both shoulders. They were both terrible. I'm faced with a left shoulder replacement at some point, is what they tell me, because there's just no muscle there anymore. I have to kind of do things differently. If I go to take a gallon of milk out of the refrigerator, I can't hold my arm straight out and lift it up and take it out without it just basically dropping. And it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt me. It's just that the muscle has so damaged that I have to do things differently. I learn a different way to do things. So it's just that simple. I'm certainly not crying about it, and I'm not whining about it. It doesn't hinder me much because I just find different ways to do things. It's just the way it is. It's a fact of life. As we age, the body loses some things, and unfortunately, my shoulders have been like that, and my hips. But I still able to move around, and until I can't, I'm going to keep moving. So again, it's not to have anyone feel sorry for me or anything like that, because I certainly don't feel sorry for myself. I feel healthy, and I guess the one knock on myself is could stand to lose a few pounds, but hey, all in good time. With Christmas just being a few days away, my wife and I were talking, and we talk about it every year, it seems like, but we're reminded of a story when the kids were young. We always tried to, hide gifts and not let them see things, and then put the gifts out there, the day before, when they were old enough to not believe in Santa Claus, but still young enough to We didn't put them out there like a week ahead of time, maybe a day or two. And I don't know, several years later, when now that the kids have grown up and had their own families, we talk about that and say, we always did a good job of hiding stuff from you kids, and not revealing what gifts you were getting and all that. And my daughter said, "Mom, Dad, I hate to burst your bubble, but we used to peek in the gifts. You guys didn't even know it." And we just kind of like, "What are you talking about?" She'd say, "Well, Chris and I would get a little razor blade or a knife or something, and we'd cut the tape so you didn't even notice it and unwrap them and check them." She goes, "We didn't look at all of them, but we'd look at a couple of them here and there." And oh, my wife and I roared laughing. We thought that was just hilarious. My son, he didn't have the ability to do that. He'd always get caught. He was like me. If he did something he wasn't supposed to do, he got caught. My daughter was pretty good at getting away with stuff like that. Not bad stuff, but, funny stuff like that. And, we get the biggest laugh out of that. So nothing surprises us anymore. Our kids had a lot of fun, had good Christmases while we were in the service. And they enjoyed it very, very much. So it was a lot of fun. You could start to see the change just a couple seconds ago in the foliage, if you will, as I get back into that back right corner. It's more green and trees and shrubs and ivy on the ground, as opposed to these briars. That's why I look forward to getting back there and working in that area. It'll be a lot neater. I'm going to have a huge pile of limbs. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to chip them up, maybe rent a bigger chipper, or haul them off, but I'll do something with them. Not a big deal. I'd like to chip them up into mulch, wood chips, and spread them around somewhere, but we'll have to see. This thing I'm uncovering, you can probably already tell, it's actually a utility trailer, very similar to mine. Probably been there for a little bit. Hopefully I'm going to at some point bring my little compressor over and see if I can air up the tires and maybe pull it out of there and get it in a position where the gentleman could use it if he needs to. It appears to be in good shape, maybe a little rusted, but the tire's flat. But other than that, it looks to be fine. But you'll see by the end of the video, I pretty much get it cleared away. There's some stuff on top that we'll deal with, but just get it cleared and maybe moved at some point. As I use this machine, the Brute, I'm reminded of a couple comments about being careful, like the machine still running, going around machine stops. The engine doesn't stop turning, but the machine stops. The transmission stops, so on and so forth. It doesn't mean that I should just automatically assume it's not going to go. So, yes, I'll be careful. Again, thanks for the for the comments and the concern. I also had a comment from an individual request. Actually, it said, "Hey, why don't you do a short video, like a review of this brush hog?" Which I'll probably do. Just I don't know, a little 4 or 5 minute, and put some clips up of me using it here, and just giving my opinions of it. It's something I won't be compensated for or anything like that. So I won't be sponsored or anything like that. I don't want to do that stuff. It's just it'll just be my opinion. I'll make that very clear that I'm not getting paid to do that. I like it. Doesn't mean everybody should. But I like it. And if this individual, I think I kept his contact info. I'll let him know when I put it up. And if it helps somebody else and they may want to purchase one, they have a need for it, great. That's great. There's several kinds. This is not the only kind, obviously. Right there is where I should, what somebody was saying, be careful. Don't go in front of it like that. The engine's still turning, so I have to be careful. The blade's not turning, but the engine is. Once I release that, the blade stops also. So I'll be sure to be careful. My wife reminded me earlier today of a story I could relay about our time in Germany, West Germany. We were stationed at Spangdahlem Air Base in West Germany back in the mid to late 80s, and we loved the country. Number one, the best advice I got before we went over there was to leave your cowboy hats, USA belt buckles, and all those things at home, and matriculate into their society. In other words, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, which we did. Had our English, German, English dictionaries. I had taken some German in high school, so I could at least pronounce some words and understood some. And whenever we went anywhere and encountered Germans, be it a store or on the street or whatever, we spoke to them in what limited German we had. They know we're Americans. They know we don't speak their language fluently. They know that right from looking at us. However, the fact remains that we take the time and effort to speak their language to do what they do in their country. Meant a lot to them. And we did very well in Germany. We lived in a small village called Bruck. We rented from a German couple that had a beautiful 3-bedroom apartment in a nice little village. And we got along with the people in the village. We talked to them. They wanted to speak English as much as we wanted to speak German. They wanted to learn English and we wanted to speak German. So the younger people were very good, very fluent in English. They teach it in the schools, which surprised me. In fact, one time we went on what they call a Volksmarch, which is basically, I guess I equate it to, in America we have these 10K road races where you run, 10K and all hundreds of people line up and, they run through the countryside and all that. Well, they have these things in Germany that they're called Volksmarch. And you basically do just like a 10K, you sign up at a starting point and you have a little booklet and you go through and walk the trails. And it's usually a beautiful walk through the woods, meadows and stuff like that. And they have refreshment stands along the way. And then they have a 10-kilometer or a 20-kilometer walk, and they have a split where you go one way and go the other. Well, our son got ahead of us in Germany. I mean, one of these folks marches, our son got ahead of us, which, we weren't worried about. But then we came to the Y, where you either went 10 or 20 kilometers, and we don't know which way he went. So my wife and daughter went one way, I went the other way, and I probably got, I don't know, a couple hundred yards down the trail, and I encountered a young German boy, probably 10 or 11 years old. So I stopped him, and I struggled through my limited German, explaining to him in German that I'm looking for my son. He's about this high, and he's wearing, blue jacket and blue jeans and sneakers, and he has a red hat on, and, we're not sure which way he went. And the whole time I'm going through broken German talking to this young man, he was just kind of looking up at me and, shaking his head, yeah. And then when I got done, he looked at me and he goes, "Did he have blonde hair, sir?" I mean, in the most perfect English you can imagine. I said, "Oh my goodness, your English is beautiful." He said, "Your German is good too." And I said, "Oh yeah, right." So I thought that was kind of funny. Me and the young man had a laugh. But he told me where our son was, and I found him, no problem. But that's the way the Germans were. Another occasion, we lived up a hill. The village center was down the hill, and we lived up the hill, and it was farmland all around there in the Eifel region of Germany. And the bus from the base used to drop the kids off in the village, and whatever parents were there, Americans would go down and pick them up. And well, our kids knew all the farmers, and they'd just wait down there, and the farmers would come by with their tractors and hay wagons, and they'd pick them up and bring them up the hill to the house. Pretty much 90% of the time they'd bring them home, which was great. Our landlord, Jürgen Dietrich, had told us that these farmers and these men and these people in this village, they'll watch out for your children. You don't have to worry about a thing. And we never did. We felt very safe. In fact, one time the kids went out to play, and we went out. I called them from the balcony, and they didn't answer, and I went out looking for them. And Jürgen said, "I think I saw him riding down the hill with the farmer." They said, "You might want to go down and check in the village." I went down there, and I went in the guest house. He said, "Check in the guest house," which is, it's kind of like a bar, but it's not like a sleazy bar like a bad bar would be in the States. It was, it was a place for people to gather, and they'd eat and talk. And, of course, the Germans love to drink their beer. And sure enough, I walked in the guest house, and there they were, sitting at the bar with the farmers surrounding them and talking away. And I looked, and two kids were eating pomfrets and drinking cola, French fries and Coke that the German men bought them. And the Germans turned around, "Hey," and saying hello and all that. And the kids were just having a great time. And I asked one of the farmers, I said, "Do you want me to take them home?" And they said, "No, we'll bring them up the hill. And when we get done, we'll bring them home, no problem." So that was kind of a neat experience. Nowadays we don't always see that. In America, everybody's fearful of kids being kidnapped and all that, and rightfully so. But that was a great time. That was a great feeling, and my hat's off to the German folks. They were super good to us. And again, we tried to matriculate into their way of life. In fact, we got invited by our landlord to a pot and pan demonstration, a sales pitch, and it was all in German. I mean, we didn't understand, 90% of it, but we had a ball. We ate and, had refreshments with the German people, and just the fact that we were there, I think, made them feel like, these people really are okay, So I think that's the way to do it when you go to a foreign country. You should, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. They know we're Americans. They know that we don't always speak their language and everything. So to at least attempt it was a good thing. So we're very happy we did that. Very happy in Germany. At any rate, I'm about to finish up here. You can see I'm just kind of going over the whole area with the brush hog, trying to clean it up. And you'll see the ground, how, you know, all these briars here are just going to pretty much disappear into, you know, little bits and particles around the ground. And hopefully that'll help as long as the weeds don't grow back up. But I'll make sure I keep an eye on that. Well, like I said earlier, this machine does a great job. You can see the ground now. It's just chopped everything up, and you know there's still some sticks there, but no big deal. I think if I use that fence and drag it at some point, that'll get everything smoothed out, but not to that point just yet. But it won't be long. So once again, I enjoyed this. I do enjoy talking and relaying some stories from our past, and I'm glad that folks are enjoying that also. But thank you so much for your support on our channel. It's going well. I enjoy it. I like the process of videoing and trying to edit these things. Hopefully my skills will continue to get better. But at this point, I'm doing the best I can with it. I think it's fair. I think we're doing okay. But I'm going to sign off myself here. But before I do, I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And you know, whatever you choose to celebrate, wherever you are, just do it safely and peacefully. And come back on January 1st. Of course, I'll be back before that, but just be safe out there and have a good time over the holidays. So we thank you once again, folks, and I'll let this video run out and just do kind of a little walk around at the end here to see where we are, and then I'll see you on the next one. Thanks again.